Hi friends, Psychic Medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess here. I am here for a video that I think is going to really help out a lot of people right now who are struggling with, in particular, the twin flame dynamic. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Elizabeth Grove, also known as the Paranormal Priestess, and I am a psychic medium, angel channeler, and also known as a remote spirit extractor specialist. I am also a Blu-ray, divine Blu-ray twin flame. And there has been so much that has been happening lately, especially with, everything that I always talk about that goes on. And we just had the solar eclipse. And that energy has really brought up more things again. But I came to realization about some very important things that I want to share, especially with those who feel like they're struggling with what has been happening or not happening in the physical with their twin flames. And it's really important to understand what the higher meanings are behind everything that takes place and what we can proactively do to actually shift things. And it's really going to be very, very eye-opening, I think, for many of you who are not currently doing this. So it definitely pays to talk about. And I had a couple of actually clients who were talking about that they would like a video on the subject that I'm going to be talking about, which is how to work with your twin's higher self. Because for those of you who have had readings with me, twin flame readings in particular, I don't guarantee it, but many times the beloved's higher self will come through. And that type of communication is always really reassuring because they're validating so much of what has transpired between the twins and the physical. And also they reveal a lot about what's happening that the divine feminine or the divine masculine are currently unaware of. And so it's just been such a blessing to be able to bring through those types of messages. So I've had clients say to me, well, you have gifts, so we can understand that you can talk to the higher self, but I don't know how to talk to my twin's higher self. Aha. But you do actually have the abilities to do that. And I want this video to be something that perhaps you can turn to or, favorite or like and go back to and work with, because so much of what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to share, and, just some ideas and ways in which you can do this yourself, it really does help in terms of keeping your vibration high and making the union really, really strong and being able to see really positive results in the physical. Okay, so because everyone is always wondering how in the world things are going to get better, he's not responding to me, she wants nothing to do with me, they blocked me off of social media, I'm always triggered, I can't take it anymore, I'm giving up, I just don't believe it's even my twin anymore. You name it, I hear it. And of course, I'm on this journey too, so there's a lot of things that come up for me personally that I don't share because I keep so many things private for a reason. And it teaches me, and I get triggered as well. And when I learn how to shift myself, that's when I turn around and I like to help other people and pay it forward. And so anything that I learn personally from my own journey, and of course I'm always learning just like all of you are, I like to, either give that to my clients or give it to you on YouTube. So this video, I did take a couple of notes just so I don't forget anything. Working with your twin's higher self triggers, resistance, and claiming false identities is the title of this video. And I just think it's just an eye-opener. Now, speaking to your twin's higher self. Okay. Now, I know many of you who I have read as clients have met their twins in the physical. Me, myself, I have not had this situation. So for me, what I have to give as, let's call it a specialty, if you would like to say that, is the higher self communication over the years. This is all I know, guys. This is it. So I understand the truth about the twin flame union, what it truly, truly is, the eternal union, the energetic union. I'm used to dealing with the personality and having the relationship with my twin's higher self. So I am quite aware of who he is. I am also aware of who he is in the physical. Yes, that is true. Of course, I am not going to reveal that out of respect for him, also for the safety of my own union. But yes, I do know who he is in the physical. So I have gotten triggered many times. Of course, he had been not aware of that in any kind of way. But me, for my personally, I had to go through a lot of the stages regardless of him, his 3D self partaking in it, consciously partaking in it, I mean. But I still had to go through a lot, and I still had to go through the triggers or whatnot. But what I have learned, I've learned hard lessons with this as well, is that, when your twin is not paying attention to you, when they're not saying hello to you or responding to you, and you're getting frustrated, or perhaps, I know this has happened for me most definitely, you've read something maybe on Twitter or a Facebook post, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, for real? For real? For real? And or you might catch your twin flame, either him or her, making some sort of comments to the opposite, about the opposite sex, or perhaps they're involved in some things that you just don't approve of, you're not happy with, or they're just plainly just ignoring you, even though you try to get noticed and you're trying so hard and all of these things, and then it becomes literally this vicious cycle of, oh my God, I need him or her to notice me. I need him or her to prove to me that they understand that there's an energetic connection between us. I need him or her to just say hi back. I need him or her to just hit like. And you get into this like addictive, obsessive mode, and then guess what? When it doesn't happen, it's like a crash and burn, right? Or perhaps some of you even have twins who have blocked you out of social media. No, I'm not one of them. I am not a stalker type of I'm just kidding. I'm not calling you guys. I'm not claiming that, you guys are stalkers. But some of you who have made attempts at trying to reach out to your twin flame and maybe have them understand it, they just weren't ready. They weren't ready to hear it. They weren't ready to accept it. And having gone through these types of experiences, or other situations, you've met your twin, you've dated your twin, you and your twin have had a very, very negative falling out. He or she never wants to speak to you again, they say. You just felt embarrassed, you felt mortified, you felt like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. So there's so many different scenarios of how the physical can trigger an awakened twin flame. So although I have not yet met my twin in the physical, knowing who my twin is, exactly who he is, I've had my share of just being exposed to him interacting with other people, and then I'm kind of like, all right, well, I guess I'm chopped liver. Guess I'm not, and I got into a lot of modes like, oh, I guess I'm not this or that, or maybe I'm not like other women, that he's attracted this sort of woman, or maybe I didn't say something cool enough. I know. These things really do run through our heads, admit it. Maybe I just wanted to, maybe if I came up with something, more interesting that I know that he would be into, he would answer me, or maybe I just have to find out when he or she is on social media, so that way I can just put myself on the timeline, so that way he or she will see it. Maybe I can just play sneak attack that way. I'm admitting this, okay? So the thing is that, you know, I'm being lighthearted about it, and I think that's the right way to go about it. But was I always lighthearted about it? Hell no. Oh no. As an authentic twin flame, in which I am, there's been many times where I literally couldn't take it. I mean, I was upset, angry, disappointed, you know, like I don't know how I'm going to do this anymore. I don't know how this is going to happen, all that. So what I'm trying to get to is that when these disappointments or these attachments or when these triggers happen in the physical, okay, then what? What's next? What would be in the highest good to do, to recognize, to work with? And what a lot of my clients are missing is the fact that they do not have the higher self communication. And I'll ask my clients in my sessions, or their twin will just tell me, or their angels will tell me, no, they don't speak to their twin flame's higher self. And I'm going, okay, why? Because, you know, it's your twin, so of course you have the ability to communicate with your twin. It's not that only I have the ability to communicate with your twin. I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love doing this for people. I feel such a gratification when I'm able to help someone have faith again and validate these things. But, you know, you do have the ability. They're your twin. And it's just a matter of recognizing where your abilities lie. And it's a matter of just, you know, intending on communicating with them and just being open to what comes. For instance, some people are more clairvoyant, so they're able to see their twin within their mind's eye clearly, and their twin is able to show them symbols and take them on vision journeys, and they're able to communicate that way. For others, maybe they're more of an empath. They can just feel their twin. They can feel their love. They can feel their pain as well and feel their grief. There's other ones who are claircognizant. So more of a claircognizant person would just know something's happening in their twin space. They just know what's happening or not happening, or how they're feeling about things and all that type of thing. Well, that's picking up on the physical, but also claircognizant is knowing what the higher self is communicating. You know, it just all depends on where your abilities. Clairaudiency, you know, being able to hear. Some may hear their beloved's higher self speaking to them. Okay? So it really pays to explore your abilities and to work on your energy. So when things aren't working out in the physical yet, it's always key that there's something that you're just not understanding, or you're not working on yet, or, you know, something's not ready yet. And it's usually the two. It's usually not just the one counterpart, because remember, things are parallel and they reflect. Okay, the twins reflect, and I'll get more into that. But as far as the triggers go, when things just don't seem to be getting anywhere, and you're getting angry and you're getting frustrated and you're just not being responded to and all of this, that is an absolutely perfect opportunity to go back to the truth of what the union actually is. The union is energetic, guys. The true marriage, the true beloved marriage, is an energetic marriage. That is the eternal marriage. The physical embodiment of this is the icing on the cake. Okay, that's the part that happens when everything else has been addressed, when the energetic connection, everything that has to be released and realized, everything that can prepare you guys, prepare your vibration, that is what prepares everything for the last step, which is the physical manifestation of it. But the true union of it is the energetic marriage, which is always there. So if your twin is not responding in a way that you feel you would like, I want you guys to recognize the fact that there are things that you need to recognize within yourself. There's things that you have to work on within yourself. And there are things that your beloved, he or she, also needs to work on. Various fear-based thoughts. You know, healing basically, at the core of it is healing. And the best way of assisting the whole manifestation process, helping to shift that physical reality, is by addressing the energetic reality. Okay? So, and it gives you a fantastic opportunity to have that beautiful connection with your beloved and work with them and be able to focus your love on each other, send love to your twin. Your twin's going to send love back, and in whatever way works for you, whatever way is natural to you in terms of your abilities, that's how you're going to perceive that love. So it does come down to you understanding your own self, understanding your abilities, working on your abilities and strengthening those. And I have to say, coming from a place where this is the only communication that I know of up to this point, it has been a lifesaver, and it has really taught me so much. It's opened up so much within me, and it really always reminds me of the truth of who he is. So anytime I get triggered, which doesn't happen often anymore, once in a while, and actually just recently there was a trigger for me, but I gotta tell you, it is not nearly where it was. And that's because I always go back to the truth, the heart, the energy of the matter, which is that this is an energetic marriage, an inner marriage. So honor the inner marriage. Honor it, because that's what's going to bring you the truth of everything. Because remember, what's happening in the 3D, so much of that, if not all, is illusionary. Okay, it's an illusion, it's a facade. The truth of your beloved is in here. It's the energy. You have that connection. You have that connection to work with. And so many times when we're getting triggered in the physical, there's so much more that's going on underneath that we're not realizing. There's so much more that they're experiencing, but we're only receiving the backlash of it, or our minds, our egos are telling us what we think is happening. Which, you know how the ego loves to trip us up. And we judge our twin. We time our twin. All of these things. But going back to having the energetic connection with them, that is what brings us back into alignment with our twin. The word is alignment. That's what brings everything back into alignment. That is the truth there. The love is there. But sometimes we pay so much attention to what the physical is doing. We know what's not happening, what's happening that's wrong, of what they're not doing that we would like us to do. Oh, our twin's not far enough along on the journey. Why aren't they getting it? Why aren't they realizing it? All of these things. But there's so much more to the picture, and this is why I'm doing the video. So much more. And working with the beloved and working with them in your meditation space is really what's going to shift so many things. And I'll explain why. First of all, you're actually exchanging energy. You're exchanging the love with them, okay? And to just celebrate the love in your space daily is such a beautiful way of strengthening that connection and raising your vibration. It's also keeping you in faith. Okay? Another thing is that you realize who your twin is. So if you're, and I'm going to talk more about this in a moment with claiming identities, but you realize working with your twin who they really are at a soul level, who their authentic self is. Because what is actually shown or projected in the 3D, so much of that, those are layers of things that your twin has developed over time, okay? Lifetimes of time. But being able to spend that time, if you can do it daily, I highly recommend it, and just give your love to them, receive it, just visualize your heart chakra lighting up with pink and green light, sending it to them, close your eyes, just feel them. If you see them, then just, see them in your mind's eye. Then you can embrace each other in your mind's eye, or hold each other, or kiss each other, or, be somewhere that's beautiful and serene, and just have this just beautiful time together, just sharing and exchanging love. And let me tell you, when you do that, it washes all those physical problems away. It's like, as soon as you decide to connect with that and align with them, align with love and the truth of the union, all that physical stuff, it just goes away. And you realize what is actually truth, what's important, what's eternal. And it's that exchange. The other thing that is very, very important when connecting with your twin's higher self is the abilities to be able to release things that are interfering with your union. Now, as twin flames, of course, we have so much stuff. We've gathered so much stuff from different lifetimes and experiences. And of course, we have so many fears that block us, that we've developed, and there's doubts, and there's griefs, and it depends on what you've experienced in the past. That's what you have to clear. Those are the things that clear, and they come up in layers. Okay, I mean, I always mention this, like the onions, and peeling the layers of the onions. These things come up, and come up, and come up, and come up, and come up. And I know a lot of you twins are I'm exhausted. I hear it all the time. I'm exhausted. I've done so much of this, over a certain span of time, that I'm done. I just can't do this anymore. And what I always say is, please, you've come this far. It's like, and I remind myself of this too, because of course, I'm in a human form, and I'm going through things myself. I have my own challenges with this journey, my own personal challenges, and I remind myself, don't give up at the end. When I go into my space and I connect with my twin flame's higher self, I'm aligning with the truth of the love. It feels so good. And that feeling, that is the truth. It's like nothing else exists. That's the truth. And when I do get triggered, and this definitely pays to mention, if you're getting triggered by your twin, please know they are always reflecting something that you have to release, okay? And you project things onto your twin projects things onto you. And anytime you have angers that come up, anytime you have any type of attachment to outcomes, and you get really disappointed and upset, and you're wallowing in grief, anytime you have those really low emotions, those negative thoughts, after your twin triggered you, that's always key, that there are things that are up for release for both yourself and for him. So that's when, the awakened twin has to say to themselves, okay, well, I got triggered. I'm not going to blame my twin or judge my twin because of what they did or didn't do, but I'm going to recognize this as an opportunity to look within myself as to why I reacted. Because that's key, guys. Why did you react? And it all comes down to fear. It simply all comes down to fear. Because if you did not have fear, you would have no reaction. You wouldn't be bothered by anything, because you would have absolutely no fear and complete 100% trust in the divine and in the higher plan, and hence no trigger. You would know that, let me surrender this. They're saying what they're saying and they're doing what they're doing, but that's okay. It's all meant to happen this way, and you would just not have those lower feelings or those negative thoughts. So if you have currently gotten triggered, for any of you watching this right now, that is always a fantastic signal that there are things that you can work on with your twin's higher self, and both of you can release that. Okay, you can do that on behalf of your twin. You can. The awakened twin has the ability to do that. You're both connected, and intention is key. If you have the intention to release something, you release it for yourself and you release it for your beloved. You can state it out loud. You can just intend it in your mind. You can ask your spiritual team to come forward and to assist you with this. You're doing a lot of wonderful shifting in the physical. So maybe if some of you viewed it that way as, triggering does not feel good, by all means. I know some of you also have twin flames who are currently in karmic partnerships, marriages, and whatnot. And triggering does not feel good. It doesn't. But it doesn't feel good because there's a message. There is a very strong message. And the message is, this is fear-based. It's reflected in him. It's also reflected in you. Here it is. Now you can actually release it for yourself and on behalf of your twin, and there'll be less and less and less stuff to let go of. And it's going to feel so much lighter. It's going to feel so much lighter. It's going to feel so much better. And you'll notice that if you do come across something that would have normally triggered you in the past and you're no longer reacting to it, or it's not as severe as it used to be, something has shifted. And, I think that a lot of twins are missing that point because they haven't really thought about connecting with their twin's higher self enough. And some may be questioning if they have the ability to do so. And I'm telling you, you absolutely do. Okay, so it might take a little bit of practice first just to find out, what types of abilities that you have naturally, where your strengths are. Your strengths will change for some of you. But you always have that ability to connect with your twin. And the more you're shifting the energetic union, honoring and shifting, the more that is going to help your unawakened or slightly awakened twin. It's going to help them along. It's going to help them to move along their process of awakening that much more. Okay, so there are things that you can do. Yes, there is a general time, divine timing, of course. But that's not set in complete stone. There are different windows of opportunity. So it really does depend on where you are in terms of shifting energetically. And I'm telling you, the key is really honoring the inner marriage, honoring the inner beloved. Okay? And I would say that, if you can just cultivate a regular meditation practice every day, you work on your abilities, you clear your chakras, you recharge them, and within your space, don't put pressure on yourself, but do what you can, what you're feeling, and just go with it, and intend on connecting with your twin's higher self. Call upon them. They're right here. They're always there. So if you're not connecting with them on social media, or they haven't called you, or haven't seen them in the physical for a while, it's okay. I just want you guys to know that it's okay. It doesn't mean that anything is going wrong. It doesn't, because if it's not prepared energetically, then it's never going to be prepared physically. And so the physical vessels would not be able to stay together in harmony unless they were at the same vibration. So if someone's up here and someone's down here, you guys want to be raised, because the high vibration is what's going to make the manifestation process work. So always, always, always go back to connecting with your twin's higher self. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is resistance. And this really goes along with when you get triggered and things like that, when things come up. And also, too, the cosmic events. So all this divine intervention and all the 5D anchoring, everything that's been happening, whoa, has it been a crazy ride? I've heard other teachers refer to it as a roller coaster. Oh yes, I definitely refer to it as a roller coaster ride. So it's been crazy. Although, some parts of it, the dips, as I call it, they don't feel good. When that happens, though, I definitely urge you guys to not resist what you're feeling. Okay? Trying to fight it, trying to fight back the tears, or trying to hold in the anger, any of that, it's not going to help. It only is dis-ease, and it can become dis-ease within the body very, very quickly. And it pays to mention that so much that has happened within our bodies over the ages, so much of that dis-ease has come from the mental anguish and the emotional traumas and all of that. So resisting things that are coming up for you is never a good thing. I say if you can safely release these things, the best way you know how in private, if you're feeling anger, maybe do some martial arts, or punch a pillow, or, do something that is not going to hurt anybody. But be able to release this and get it out, and know that it's okay to get it out, because you want to get that out. It's coming up so you can recognize it. It's just like when you're triggered by your twin in the physical. You're reacting because your reaction is there for you to recognize those feelings, those thoughts, so that way you can usher them out, you can transform them. So resisting the process is not helpful in terms of that. Working with the sadness, if you're having tears, if you're in grief or feeling depressed about anything, it's an opportunity. It doesn't feel good while it's happening, granted, but it's an opportunity for you to recognize that this is leaving you, and it's leaving your union. It's preparing you to go higher. So when you go lower, know that's because you're going to go higher. So stay with the process of it and work with it. Work through those feelings. Sit with those feelings. Explore them. Sit with those thoughts. Why are you thinking this? Why are you feeling this? You can, if those of you who do connect with your spiritual teams, with your angels, with your guides, with Jesus Christ, with Source, if you do you connect that way, that's a fabulous time to ask your team to step forward and help you if you're not realizing certain things. And I do this all the time. If I'm just not getting something, and something is bothering me about my twin flame journey, I literally have to sit with it. I have to sit with it. And I ask my team to please come in and to help me to understand the overall bigger picture, because that's exactly what I need to focus on. Okay, so I can then release things. Okay, and it's always going to be helpful to do that. Resisting also to the urge to try to force things. That's forcing things in the physical never works, guys. It just never works. It won't. Trying to force your twin when they're not ready yet, when they still have things that they need to take care of within their own lives, when they're still not realizing certain things, just resistance doesn't work there. So if you can just not give in to the urge to try to force things, because it doesn't help. Rather than resist, it's best to surrender. And I always talk about surrendering, and surrendering is really just so important to do. It really, really, really is. Because you're surrendering to the divine will and surrendering to divine timing, which I did an upload on, which I definitely recommend going back to and watching again, because we do need those reminders. We do need those reminders. So resistance is the opposite of allowing things to flow, and you want things to flow with this journey. The more they flow, the better. So whatever feelings are coming up, let that flow. Whatever thoughts are coming up, just let them, just keep, don't try to not think them, because if these negative thoughts are coming up again, they're coming up for a reason, okay? And the reason being is that these are just lower vibrational thoughts and emotions. A lot of ego things coming up on both sides for the divine feminine and divine masculine. So again, it's a fantastic opportunity to take yourself aside, work with the truth of your twin, their higher self, feel them, see them, hear them, send your love to them, ask that these things are released for yourself and on behalf of your beloved. Okay? And intend on letting them go. You're shifting the energetic connection, which is the truth of twin flames, and that is preparing. Think of it that way. That's preparing you for the very last step, which is the physical manifestation. Okay? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention about resistance. When I think of resistance, I really honestly, I think this is how I describe it. It's just not fighting the process. Don't fight the process. Okay? Wherever you are in your journey, don't fight it. Don't compare it to other people's journeys. Just allow it to be. Don't fight it. Don't fight the flow. Go with the flow. Wherever it's going, just go. The ups and downs, stay with it. Don't resist. The last thing that I want to talk about, and this just, I really am feeling really passionate about talking about this, because this literally just came up for me last night. Okay? And that's why I say, I am a twin myself, so I understand so much that goes on in terms of, I thought I was done with this, or I thought I wasn't going to get triggered, or I didn't, where is this coming from? And what I want to talk about is about attachment to identities, or claiming a particular identity. Okay? I'm not going to get into personal information, but I'm just going to generalize it, and this may help you realize some things, is that as we go through life, sometimes we get so attached to who we think we are, who the ego thinks they are. Okay? here's just a little like small example of me just growing up in high school. Okay, I was the rock chick. I had the combat boots, the Doc Martens. I had the black eyeliner and black smudged all over, and had all the jewelry and all of that kind of thing. And this was like what I identified myself as. I identified myself as this certain, we'll just say like a certain style, a certain look. And I was also in a band. I was also a hard rock singer. And sometimes I used to think to myself, well, if I didn't have this look, if I didn't have all my eyeliner and all my gear on and all this stuff, then I somehow was not me at all. Or I wasn't as attractive to the opposite sex. If I didn't have this certain image that I clung to. Like, I actually claimed an identity. Okay? And that's just a small example. But sometimes we don't realize that we've spent so many years establishing in our heads who we think we are. And it's actually not authentically who we are. We're so much more than that. So much more. And sometimes we just don't really know ourselves. And we somehow just set out into the world because of all our experiences and everything. And we get caught up in our heads. And we just claim a certain identity. And we think that's it. That's all that I am. And I have to tell you, I really had a pretty enlightened moment last night, think of this coming up. And it happened to be a block. It happened to be a block for me. It was something that was causing me to have emotional uproar and thoughts come up. And I sat and I spoke with Archangel Michael, and he was talking about claiming an identity that actually never really was me, but I just spent so long being attached to it that that's what I had thought. Okay, so think of it, and your twin also goes through that same type of thing too, of who they think that they are. Okay, that they have to present to the world a certain face, a certain mannerism, a certain way, because that society has, let's just say, put all these projections out there. Society molded them. Their experiences with people, with the world, has molded them, and they take on this particular identity, which they think is really them. And then what happens is when the dark night of the soul comes, which is truly a time of going inward and really spiritually getting cleaned out, and it's one of the hardest things I can tell you that you'll ever have to do, but it's a blessing because within that you truly find out what really isn't your identity, and you go, oh my gosh, well, who am I now? If I'm not that, what I represented, what I showed the world, and all, then who am I? And you feel literally lost. Lost. But you're not lost, but it just feels lost. Okay, and a lot of twin flames go through this. It's a part of this spiritual shedding process. And some things had come up for both myself and my twin flame that went as far back as Atlantis. And when Archangel Michael mentioned this, I went, whoa, because of these traumatic experiences that we had in Atlantis, it's like that's why we were prone to claiming this particular type of identity throughout this lifetime. And now that is completely being ushered out, cleansed out, and we're brought to the truth of our being. So, claiming an identity now, I want you guys to realize this because your twin, your unawakened twin, may be going through this right now. They may be going through the dark night of the soul. They may be realizing that who they thought they were really isn't who they are. Chances are that is happening. And it's a very confusing low point in one's life because they just don't have that attachment anymore. They felt so comfortable. It felt so comfortable. That's all they knew. It's just like me being the goth rock chick was all I knew. And once I went through getting sick, having illness, and also not being able to wear eyeliner for a long while, I realized that, oh my gosh, this whole look, this whole claiming, that was just one of the things. I had other things with my lens, but that in particular, it's like, wow, that really wasn't me. It's not like I lose me just because I don't have this particular identity. And so you become more comfortable, and you comfortable with yourself, and you realize, oh my God, I'm so much more than what I claimed to be. That's what the divine energy does with it opens you up. It opens you up to truth. So I want you guys to really just reflect on this. I just highly recommend that you do. Because if things truly are not working out in the physical, it's because there's other things energetically that truly need to be explored, recognized, explored, released, and it's a really good thing if the union is not together in the physical, because it's going to help you out. And working with your twin's higher self is really key to it all. And so I feel really, really blessed that that's all that I know. Yes, of course, I'm really looking forward to the physical embodiment of this, of course. You know, I would love to be able to embrace someone physically, be able to bring a very special life mission, a joint mission, to humanity, where, you know, our purpose. So that's very, very important. But of course, I'm learning all the way, and I'm embracing every single step of it. And I always know that he's there with me every day, and that love has never left me. And I will just leave you with this. All of this really speaks to me of self-mastery. And I mention this often, and I'm always going to mention it, because when twins get really upset, and it's like they can't, they don't see a way out of it, it's because they're not understanding the overall picture. And every time things are just not working out the way you thought they would, or what you wanted at that time, understand it's for your own learning, it's for your own growth, it's for your own self-mastery. And that's truly, truly important as souls, to be able to grow and evolve and reach a level of mastery. So don't throw away those opportunities of really just taking a step back and looking at the whole overall picture and being proactive in energetically shifting your union. And keeping in mind that anything that is happening with your twin, there is always something parallel that's happening with you. Okay? So if they're going through something, or they're reacting a certain way and that you don't like it or you don't approve of it, there is a message there about something that also is a reflection within you. So that gives you an opportunity to look within, to not judge, and to work through it as a loving team, which you are. Okay? You're a loving, energetic, eternal team. And you always have love for each other. So bring yourself back to that. Okay? And I think that's all I really wanted to... oh, actually, no. I want to say one more thing. And only if you resonate with it. There is an Indian mantra that I absolutely love, and it's all about surrender, okay? And it goes, Om Parama Prema Rupaya Namaha. And Om Parama Prema Rupaya Namaha. And what that is saying is that I bow to the beloved, to my divine beloved, in a form that I recognize. And it's really honoring and surrendering to this beautiful love, honoring the whole entire process. And what Archangel Chamuel says, who is of love partnerships, is that it really does connect you to your beloved, and it assists them. And so I love this mantra, and if you do find that you're having a moment where you are really feeling low about your twin flame dynamic, going back to that mantra can be very, very helpful. And of course, all of the things that I mentioned here in this video are really going to serve you, serve the union, and serve the divine. Okay? Hence, also serving humanity when it's ready to come together perfectly. Okay? It's been a pleasure. I always love getting on camera here and just speaking with all of you, and I love doing sessions. I do sessions for everybody, but I do have a lot of twin flame clients, and so if you do feel guided, I am here. I would just ask that you give me at least 48 hours to respond back sometimes, because of just all of the emails that I get and the sessions that I do. So my schedule is getting a little packed, which is always good because I love being there for people. But just allow some time there. You can go to the paranormalpriestess.com, okay, and just email me first, message me first before you pay for any session. I just ask that because I just want to make sure that we are the correct vibrational match to work with each other for the highest good. The spirit extraction, the remote spirit extraction work will be returning, I feel, relatively soon. So my team is just, they're going to give me a heads up as to when that's going to be, but I do feel it's going to be soon, so I'll be back in action with that to help you out. You can go onto social media. I'm on Facebook, The Paranormal Priestess, and like the page. I'm also on Twitter, ParaPriestessYT. I have my own Twitter, Para_Priestess. And that's it. So I know this was a little bit of a longer video today, but I really wanted to make these very important points. And I would love to hear any questions or comments if you want to share how it's been working out, connecting with your twin's higher self. Definitely, let me know. I'd love to hear, okay? From the heart of the darkness is born the light. Brightest blessings, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.